Every morning, without realizing it, you wake up in the world shaped by a single man. Your alarm rings. You check the time, organized precisely into time zones that connect millions across America. You step out, grab a coffee, maybe glance at your paycheck, taxed and allocated in ways most people take for granted. You hold a dollar bill. That face staring back at you is more than history. It's a sign of how one man, shot dead 160 years ago, still controls the rhythm of your day. But who was he? What did he do so powerfully, so long ago, that you can't escape his influence even today? What was it that turned a single act of violence into an invisible force guiding your nation's everyday life? He was not born in glory. In fact, most people saw him as a failure. He lost elections. He struggled with heartbreak and poverty. Even before he led a nation, his life was marked by disappointment. Yet, somehow, those failures became the foundation for something legendary. For the next few minutes, let's unravel a story that begins with tragedy, navigates through unbelievable setbacks, and lands in a moment that changed your life forever, even if you never realized it. Throughout this tale, remember, history isn't just in the books. It's alive every morning you wake up, every penny you spend, every right and protection you possess. And it all started with the end of one man's life. Before we reveal his name, let's list the ways a single death created shocks felt for centuries. Time zones, tax systems, iconic universities, your rights and freedoms, holidays that unite families, a relentless agency protecting leaders. How did one president wield so much power, even after his death? Who is he? Why should you care about a story that unfolded 160 years ago? Today, you'll discover more than his name. You'll witness just how deeply the threads of his life and his assassination are woven into your world. April 14th, 1865. Around 10:15 p.m. evening. Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. The audience was enjoying a comedy play called Our American Cousin. An anonymous man entered the president's box, located in the VIP area of the theater. While the audience was busy enjoying the show, suddenly, a gunshot was fired. Almost everyone thought the gunshot was part of the play. But that's not the case. The gunshot was real. It came from John Wilkes Booth's presidential box. Later, we learned that the anonymous man was an actor and Confederate sympathizer who shot a bullet into the head of the president with his Derringer pistol. The president was none other than the greatest leader in the history of the U.S., Abraham Lincoln. Sic semper tyrannis, he shouted. Thus, always to tyrants, before leaping onto the stage, breaking his leg in the process. The audience was still confused, thinking it was part of the play. But as Mary Lincoln's screams pierced through the theater, they have shot the president. Within minutes, chaos erupted.
The president has been shot. The president has been shot at Ford's Theater.
Dr. Charles Leal, who had graduated from Bellevue Hospital Medical College in New York City just 6 weeks before, was the young Union Army surgeon who first reached the wounded President Lincoln. He provided vital emergency care, oversaw his transfer to the Peterson House, and remained a steadfast presence during Lincoln's final hours. Lincoln was carried across the street to a small boarding house, where he would spend his final hours. By 7:22 a.m. on April 15, 1865, Abraham Lincoln was dead. The news spread across the nation like wildfire. America had lost its greatest president. But friends, this is not just a story about death. This is the story of a man who defied every odd, overcame every failure, and rose from absolute poverty to become a legend. But here's what will shock you. How did a man born in a one-room log cabin with a dirt floor become America's most revered president? How did someone who failed more times than most people even attempt eventually save a nation and free millions from slavery? How did a man born in poverty, who failed in business, lost dozens of elections, and battled devastating depression and heartbreak, become the leader who held a broken nation together? What made his failures the foundation of his greatness? Today, we trace the story of Abraham Lincoln, and how every defeat carved the path to America's greatest triumph. But Lincoln's story wasn't confined to history, it became eternity. After that fateful night, his influence grew, touching every corner of American life. Your morning routine. Every time you check your phone's clock, you're using standardized time zones built for the railroads Lincoln championed. That coffee? Federal taxes on it. Thanks to Lincoln's Revenue Act of 1861. Education. Step onto a college campus and know state universities like UC Berkeley Cornell, MIT, and Penn State were created by Lincoln's Morrill Land Grant Act. Scientific research at NASA and the CDC trace their roots to the National Academy of Sciences, founded by Lincoln. Money and banking. Pull out any American currency. Lincoln's face sits upon the penny and the $5 bill. The phrase, "In God we trust," first printed during his era. Before Lincoln, over 1,500 types of currency confused the nation. His National Banking Act unified the dollar, shaping global economic power. Holidays. Celebrate Thanksgiving? It was Lincoln who established it in the midst of war, uniting families in gratitude. Christmas as a federal holiday? Lincoln's vision for unity helped make it possible. Protection and rights. The Secret Service, born the same day Lincoln died, now shields every president. Every constitutional amendment guaranteeing freedom and equality owes its existence to Lincoln's failures, transforming pain into progress. His legacy thrived not in statues or speeches, but in the everyday moments millions experience, moments you're living right now. Pause for a moment. Consider the arc of his life, from defeat, heartbreak, and broken dreams, to a presidency built on resilience and empathy. His assassination was meant to end hope, but it only made his story stronger. When you protect your rights, when you spend your money, when you gather as a family, remember, Abraham Lincoln, the president once known for his failures, shapes every aspect of your day. Is it possible that the greatest impact comes not from one's life, but from the legacy their death leaves behind? Lincoln's story proves that history's failures are building blocks for the very freedoms and comforts you enjoy. What started as tragedy became the invisible architecture of a nation. So, the next time you wake up in Lincoln's time zone, spend Lincoln's currency, attend a university Lincoln helped found, celebrate Lincoln's declared holidays, rely on Lincoln's banking system, or benefit from Lincoln's constitutional amendments, know this: Abraham Lincoln's death wasn't the end of his story. It was the beginning of his true influence. One bullet tried to silence a president. Instead, it built a legacy so profound that 160 years later, you can't live a day without feeling Abraham Lincoln's presence. The man once called a failure became the force behind America's daily life. Every morning you wake up in the nation Lincoln died to preserve. Every night you rest, protected by his vision. That's not just history, that's immortality. And that's how an assassinated president still influences your life. Even after 160 years. Tell us in the comments below. Which Lincoln legacy surprised you the most?